I welcome you to this safety meeting, the people that are in person as well as the ones that are visiting us virtually. This meeting is recorded, so don't be surprised if you see it on the website as we continue working on our initiatives. So we do have the meeting goals, and the goals are to make new connections and identify opportunities for partnership, inform the public on key CDOT projects, traffic safety data, and traffic safety strategies. We will advance conversations and efforts identified at past community tables. We will also discuss the opportunities for action and advocacy efforts. So we have slides outlining the goals, and we want to make sure we establish a forum for meaningful participation where collaboration is encouraged, learning is facilitated, partnerships are fostered, and where Chicagoans can have a voice in the decision-making that impacts them. Okay, we also have a few more ground rules. We'd like for you to listen actively to understand others' views and perspectives. One person should be speaking at a time. Seek clarity and avoid making assumptions. Be accountable for your words and their impact, because you know words hurt. Your experience is valuable and unique, and it's worth sharing. So provide constructive criticism of ideas and projects, not of individuals. Okay. I didn't get a chance to introduce myself, but before doing so, I'd like to acknowledge any of the CDOT commissioners and CDOT staff that made it their concern to have a meeting on the far south side, as well as the aldermen that we work with in the 6th Ward, William Hall, the 8th Ward, Michelle Harris, the 9th Ward, Anthony Beal, the 10th Ward, Peter Chico, the 19th Ward, Matt O'Shea, and the 21st Ward, Ronnie Mosley. So, hello. I am the Dolores Lucas. I'm the founder of We Keep You Rolling. It's a bike and wellness group. And if you haven't heard of me, just Google it. You'll find some content explaining some of the things that I've been working on citywide. I have a BS in Communications, Radio and TV from Illinois State University. And I also have a FCC first class license. Does anybody remember that from the past? You had to have a first class license to operate the control board for the DJs or touch any equipment at the radio and TV stations. It's obsolete now, but I worked my butt off to get that first class license. It really means a lot if you worked in the industry in the 80s. I've been advocating for connected sidewalks on 130th since 2009. That's when I started my first walkability audit with Active Transportation Alliance. And I'm still advocating for pedestrian safety tools on 130th. And that's over 15 years of advocating. And I'm ashamed that this part of Chicago has gone unnoticed. We should have a lot more robust installation of infrastructure and more. But when the red line gets extended to 130th, I'm sure we'll have more safety tools. I'd like to thank a few people that helped me along my way. like Ann Alt. She suggested I become an MBAC representative. I served 2 terms in MBAC representing the far south side. Then CDOT ended MBAC and replaced it with Chicago Mobility Collaboration. That's what we are now, CMC. And excuse me a moment, a little dry mouth. Much better. Thank you. I'd like to thank all the other advocates in the room that had something to do with making our city safer and advocating for better safety installations and bike rides, bike lanes, protected bike lanes. I'd also like to thank Amanda Woodall, Johnson A. Johnson, Shamika Turner, and last but not least, Romina. That young lady is a gem. We're lucky to have her in the department. She has a lot of experience working in the community, and she really has a way of being a secret, silent mediator, and that's very helpful. So she suggested that I come and do the welcome, so it gave me an opportunity to talk about the stuff that we do. So welcome. This is the Far South Side Trailblazers Safety Showdown. So we're gonna be talking about safety and more biking infrastructure. I represent Riverdale Community 54, but Pullman Community 50, Roseland Community number 45, we are all considered in the environmental justice community. And what that means is we got some issues with our air, our community, our healthiness and habits need to change to help us live longer. So I want to say it again. This room is filled with stewards of safe cycling. And they teach whoever they touch. They are the advocates that ride on the South Side. They are the eyes and wheels that know the city. And we're very concerned about safety and installing more biking infrastructure in our communities. So they will be giving you some feedback, some tips, and requests that we would like to happen. So let's get started. Thank you very much.
Good. Good thing that she didn't have to bring it too high up. So we're good. Hi, everyone. I'm Romina Castillo. I'm with CDOT. And I'll be going over a few slides regarding CDOT updates. And I wanted to get started with some traffic safety data and strategies. So you'll find this on your tables. I have a few copies of the crash and fatalities report from July. It takes us some time to the department to analyze and consolidate some of the data, so that's why we have the July, which is confirmed. You'll see on the screen and on the table that it says that there were 0 bike fatalities, which we know that that's not true. We had our unfortunate 1 fatality last month. But if we, and it is not bad. I think still one fatality is one too many for our city. we recognize that, and I just wanted to acknowledge that this table is not up to date, but is the most completed information that we have up to this point on the website. And you can find this on the CDOT website under our complete streets traffic safety data. So it is available to the public as well. We can go to the next slide. Yeah, and I just wanted to go over a few other more on the lighter side of updates that has been happening across the city around transportation and mobility. And one of the things we wanted to highlight is the Bike Chicago initiative, which it's run by CDOT and our wonderful SAFE ambassadors who are the force behind this wonderful initiative. And there has been a few reports from Share. So there was a study made by Share Use Mobility, SUMSI, and a report that they created. And from that report, there has been a number of articles and news, one in the Chicago Sun-Times, Next City, street blogs, speaking about the impact of Bike Chicago in the lives of people who lack the option of active mobility, sometimes because they can't afford other vehicles of transportation. So Bike Chicago is the country's largest free bike distribution program and has been successful at promoting active transportation and mobility justice in the neighborhoods that need it the most. CDOT has efficiently distributed over 2,000 bicycles, along with equipment and safety training, that has been led by our SAFE ambassadors, since launching the initiative in July of 2022. This puts Bike Chicago on track to reach its goal of 5,000 bikes distributed by 2026. And on the website and on this site, you'll find some more information and links to those articles so you can learn more about the initiative. Or you can also ask any of our bike ambassadors today to tell you a little bit more about the initiative. Next slide. We have our new Damon Green Line CTA station open pretty recently. So that has been such a great addition to connecting with mobility in the west side and near west side. And this is a long-awaited Damon CTA station. It was celebrated and it's during its grand opening on August 5th. CDOT led the design and construction on the state-of-the-art station, which fills a 1.5-mile service gap on the near west side. Supports local growth and job creation in the Quincy Industrial Corridor and accommodates large crowds attending events at the nearby United Center. Next slide. And just recently, we had our new, just in time for National Hispanic Heritage Month, CDOT joined Mayor Brant Johnson and community leaders to celebrate the restoration of the iconic Little Village Arch on 26th Street. CDOT was proud to lead the rehabilitation of the city landmark to restore it to its original state and preserve its character for decades to come. And there's a wonderful picture on the slide. The project team collaborated with Relojes Centenario, the original clock manufacturer in Mexico, to salvage and update elements of the arch's famous clock, at last displaying the correct time after years of this repair. Work also included repairs to the granite, limestone, and stucco and tile. A new trellis bearing the message, Bienvenidos a Little Village, identical to the original, was fabricated and installed, solidifying the arch's role as the gateway to Little Village, Chicago Mexican community. So this was a great project, and we're really proud of that project and happy that it has finally restored and we can actually look at the right time on 26th Street. Great, and speaking a little more on also DV and bike infrastructure. So Chicago is in the process of installing 400 new DV stations with a focus on extending service to neighborhoods previously without docking stations. Among one of those milestones for this DV expansion is the 1,000th DV station, which was installed right at the Damien station, at the new Damien station. So a few milestones attained on that date, establishing a key multimodal hub, again, at the new Green Line Damien station. Additional, DV has introduced a new benefit for members. Out-of-station docking fees will now be waived when an e-bike or scooter is parked near a full station. And we can also, hear more about what the CDOT and DV are doing as far as new membership benefits in one of our community tables. I believe it's number 2. And we switched tables. I think it's on this side. So we'll have some representatives from CDOT speaking a little bit more about the expansion of the DV network. Next one. And another great project is the Clark and Devon Streetscape, which was recently completed and celebrated with a ribbon cutting ceremony by our Commissioner, Tom Carney, alongside 49th Ward Alderwoman Maria Hayden, 48th Ward Alderwoman Lenny Ona Hoppenworth, and 40th Ward Alderman Andre Vasquez. And they all celebrated, and the community celebrated the completion of a transformative streetscape redesign and improvement project along Clark Street, from Devon Avenue to Arthur Avenue. And joined by the Rogers Park Business Alliance and other community members, the group highlighted the project's improvements to traffic safety, walkability, and beautification, including the conversion of a segment of Arthur Avenue into a community gathering space and the revitalization of the plaza at Clark Street and Shriver Avenue. And there's some great images of both great new spaces for the community on those slides. I think we have one more slide. Great, so other great news. The City of Chicago was recently awarded $15 million in funding from the Federal Charging and Fueling Infrastructure Program to support the expansion of EV, or electric vehicles, charging infrastructure. CEDA led the grant application for this discretionary federal funding, which will help address access gap to EV charging stations, EVs, and e-mobility information in Chicago. I think there's one more, I believe. Yep. We have another great program that not many people know that is run by CDOT. So CDOT, that's our Green Corps program, and also the Green Corps has a youth component to its program every year, every summer. And CDOT recently completed another successful summer of the Green Corps Chicago Youth Program, which trains 16 to 19-year-olds in career readiness. In partnership with Chicago Public Schools and several nonprofit organizations, the program connects youth with sustainability careers through hands-on projects that restore natural and public spaces. And I think that's for CDOT updates. Wanted to leave on a great light note and happy note with our youth programs. And now I'll pass it over to David Buffont from Envision Unlimited, who has just a short introduction to their programming, the amazing events that they have organized, and many of them have actually been happening in the far south side in Big Marsh. So I'll pass it over to him.
Thank you, Romina. My name's David, and I work for an organization called Envision Unlimited. Envision Unlimited is a nonprofit that serves adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities. The main way that we support these adults is with day programs and with housing. Envision has 7 day programs located all over the city, as far north as Clark and Bryn Mawr, and as far south as 115th and Western. Actually, there's 3 members and 2 staff from our Morgan Park location to 115th and Western. You guys give a wave. There we go. So as an organization, we try and support our members as much as possible. Again, with day programs, and then Envision has over 80 houses all over Chicagoland. So we are in your neighborhood, more than likely. But I'm here because of our adaptive cycling program. Our program started 5 years ago in Humboldt Park with 2 donated tandem bikes. They were Schwinn tandem bikes. They didn't have any gears. They were heavy, but we made them work. One of our day programs is adjacent to the 606 trail. So we walked our bikes up the ramp, we got on the 606 trail, and we rode. And it started with 4 of us. And now today, 5 years later, we have a fleet of over 40 bicycles. We have a fleet on the north side and the south side. The reason that's important is our south side fleet is located at Big Marsh Park. We share a container with Friends of Big Marsh. Some of you guys might know Friends of Big Marsh. We share a container with Friends of Big Marsh, and we have tandem bikes. We have 2 different types of tandem bikes there and some single bicycles as well. So we are here on the southeast side riding bicycles. We appreciate this conversation very, very much. So we have 40 different bikes, or more than 40 bicycles, and we have 8 different kinds of bicycles. So we're trying to make getting started to riding a bicycle as easy as possible. And then also, if somebody's ambitious and wants to learn how to ride a bicycle with more skill, with more frequency, we want to be able to facilitate that as well. So we do that in Humboldt Park on the 606 trail. We do that on the south side at Big Marsh. Let's see, where am I at? So what does bicycle riding do for our members? It does a lot of things. Independence. Our members are able to get themselves from point A to point B with minimal help from anybody else. A lot of our members are dependent on somebody else for transportation, a family member, a staff, Pace Paratransit. When we're on a bicycle, we are responsible for getting ourselves from the start point of our ride to the end point of our ride. That gives us a certain satisfaction. It also gives us choice. We have a choice to ride a bicycle or not, a choice to be indoors or outdoors. I love sharing that choice of being outdoors on a bicycle with our members. Another thing it does is it gives us a sense of belonging. When we're talking, when we're having a discussion, and we're talking about bicycles, we have experience with bicycles. We're very, very comfortable talking about bicycles. And then to make that very literal, we are here today. We belong here today at this meeting as residents of Chicago, as those who look to use public transportation and the infrastructure to get ourselves from point A to point B. We're here also because we're looking to explore partnerships with the Department of Transportation. And our first opportunity to do that is later this month, the 29th, it's Sundays on the Boulevard. We're going to be at the North Lawn, we're going to be in the North Lawndale neighborhood. We're going to bring our bike fleet with us. We're going to bring information with us. So we're going to set up 2 tents. One's going to be an informational tent. I'll be there. We can talk. We can pass out pamphlets. Our other tent is going to have bikes. We'll have all different types of bicycles, and the community can touch these bikes, feel these bikes, and because we'll be at a block party where the streets are closed, you'll be able to ride these bikes around as well. So we want to share our experiences with the community. And that is why Envision is here. That's why I am here. And that's why we are here. So thank you very much for the invitation and making us feel so welcome this evening.
Great, so this is the time that you have all been waiting for, our breakout conversations. So we have 3 different tables, and before I continue, again, thank you, David, and for this partnership, and thank you to everyone who came and support this conversation today. So I want to just tell you a little bit more about what the tables, the conversation that those tables are going to be about. There's also descriptions about the conversations on each table. So if you haven't had the chance to look around, You can still have a minute or two to read that and decide which table you want to join. So again, we have 3 tables. And before that description, or before I share that description with you, just wanted to remind you that we have a vision statement for the tables. One of our goals with our community tables is to foster the dialogue, inclusion, and empowerment of our community members. We want everyone to share their own experience and knowledge that they have gained because they live in the city, because they move through the city, because they use our streets. So all that is valuable information and knowledge that we want to elevate and celebrate in those conversations. Next slide. Great. So we have, again, 3 tables. Table number 1, which is right here on my right-hand side, so it will be your left-hand side if you're looking at the other side. So we have Jason and Quinn from CTA, and we have Jim Merrill from Active Transportation Alliance, and they will be facilitating a conversation about quarter implementation of bus rapid transit, as well as other projects that are happening related to transit. They will highlight some of the projects that might be relevant to this area, as well as a toolbox that CDOT and CTA have developed to explain what are those elements that we want to include in those projects. So there'll be conversations about the technicality of the projects, but also how you can build that advocacy and support for those projects in your own communities. Table number 2, we have Beyond the Bike Lane. So this is the middle table. Over here we have Peter, one of our CNC leaders. Hi, Peter. In here, so David will also be there, and we also Kyle from CDOT leading a conversation just like about accessible micromobility. So we've been talking about DB, we've talking about adaptive bicycles, and how through our DB network we're truly trying to expand the access to DB, to cycling, and how Envision Unlimited have also found that gap of how can we even build a more inclusive community of cyclists through their events and the advocacy that they have been doing. So there'll be a conversation about that. And we have table number 3 over here. So that will be me, which will be over there. We'll be switching over there. And Ms. Lucas will be leading a conversation about the 130th Street project. It's a streetscape project. That's something that Ms. Lucas mentioned during her interview. That has been a project, long-awaited project for the community. So we'll have a few updates and some visioning conversations about what community will like to and expect in that project. So we'll have about, let's see, 45 minutes in those conversations. And then after that, we'll regroup and we'll share, sorry. I'm sorry. Yes, sorry. Thank you. We'll have one virtual table, yes, for everyone who's joining us virtually. So that will be the table number 3. So we'll be including everyone in the conversation with the 130th Street project. So we'll have the microphone there, and yeah, we'll join that table. Thank you. So again, we'll have about 45 minutes, and we'll have someone going around just reminding you or letting you know how much time there's left, and we'll regroup, let's say around 7:20 or so, just for a quick regroup and share some a high-level summary of how the conversation went. So thank you. Alrighty, thank you so much. So we're wrapping up the conversations and coming back as a group to summarize some of the thoughts, things that happened. So I just want to remind you, we're asking you for a very high-level summary of your conversation. No need to get into the super details. We just want to know how the conversation went. Is there any action item, anything that will need a follow-up, or just, what was the consent in the conversation? So we'll start with table number 1.
My name is Damien. I'm representing Table 1 and also South Shore Bicycle Works, a bicycle cooperative in South Shore.
Yeah.
Hello. What was the question? I'm sorry.
Just summarize the conversation.
Oh.
Level, how.
So our conversation at Table 1, can you all hear me? Our conversation at Table 1 was about bus, CTA infrastructure, and train infrastructure, how to make it more accessible and sustainable, and some of the corridors that we have some of our most problems at. I'm just gonna name 2 or 3 streets: Ashland, Halstead, Cottage Grove, and 95th Street for Ann. We talked about how to improve them, what were some of the barriers, and how to integrate also bicycle infrastructure into them so that people have, folks with disabilities. So if you're ADA accessibility, as well as bicycle infrastructure, and just getting pedestrians on a bus effectively and efficiently. Thank you.
Great, and we have table number 2.
Just point it up.
Okay, I should be able to.
That's good.
Hopefully be able to hear me. So our meeting was basically about divvy expansion and the fact that the city has 1,200 stations planned, 15,000 bikes, expansion of more locations all over the city for divvy expansion, how they've improved the divvy product, and different places on the south side where it's going to be more divvy installation. Some of the we also learned about Envision Unlimited and all the great work that they're doing with adaptive cycling, and we met some of the people at our table who benefited from that, and they are very excited, and they're learning a lot about cycling, and they invited us to their event September 29th in North Lawndale, where they're going to have people riding on the streets, and you can get on a tandem bike and help somebody have somebody ride around with you. So that's a great thing. The last thing we talked about was identifying gap in the patchwork we have instead of having a network. And so there needs to be an action plan for the networks in Chicago, particularly on the far south side, for how we can connect the different places where people want to go and have safe cycling infrastructure there so that these things can be achieved sooner rather than later. Thank you.
And then finally, table number 3. This one.
We had a very enlightening discussion on how to implement this side path. It's also called a streetscape, and some people really didn't know what it would compose of. And are we going to use sidewalk and street, or just stay in the street to make the path? So it was a lot of discussion of how we're going to do. We came up with different ideas, what the planners will have to, that will be up against. One section has houses with seniors, so how are we going to engage with the seniors and invite them to give feedback and wish that they want the same thing that we want? It was a good thing that the homes along the route, it's the front of their homes, it's not their driveway, which would hinder installing this trail. So we wrote down a lot of complexities that we've seen coming with this plan. Also engaging with or how to overcome crossing the railroad track with this trail. Also, this trail is close to water. Someone suggested, would you like to have it pass the water as a way to get to the other side and not bother the homeowners, etc. So thank goodness it's a short span of trail. It's not long. How many blocks would it be from Ellis to what's the, I'm trying to think of the other street that's close to the trail, Major Taylor Trail. It's well before Halstead. So it's a short project, Parnell, yes. So it's not very long, which is good. They could be very creative as to how to set it up. We are hoping and wishful that they start working on this side path streetscape project right away, so that this project will kickstart all the other projects to come involving 130th Street. That community, my community, is also proposing a new grocery store along 130th. So now we would have a reason to set up the side path because we're trying to get to the food. Right now, we don't have a store in that area. And we had once before, which made it very prominent as to we need to get to the store safely. So, and we also talked about the value of what this trail will bring, because you also want to connect to the red line, the end of the red line, and you want to go to the store, and then you want to keep going to the trail. So all of that is going to be very important. And when the press release comes out for it, it will inspire the other ideas to come to fruition. Thank you.
Alrighty. So we just have one announcement, and I think we've repeated that a few times already. So we have this Adaptive Cycling Expo and Community Bike on Sunday, September 29th. That's in partnership with Envision Unlimited, and also with our friends in North Londo and Sundays on the Boulevards. And there will be an Animal Palooza there and a few other activities. So it will be such a great event. So we will be meeting 11:30 to ride at noon. The ride will be about an hour or so. We'll come back and we'll just enjoy the rest of the festivities along the boulevard. So it'll be a great time to bring the family and ride or scoot or just walk around. So it'll be great. So join us, please. So just to close today, I want to thank everyone for making it out to Olive Harvey, and I also want to thank Olive Harvey College for hosting us today. They were wonderful hosts. They really helped us. So hopefully there's someone listening to this. We'll pass the message. So they were great. I want to also thank all our partners and co-facilitators for the tables. David from Envision Unlimited, our friends from CTA, Active Trans, And if you, we keep you rolling too. Thank you for the great participation. I also want to thank our CMC leadership group. So we have Peter in the back, Peter Taylor, support in person. I know Rochelle is joined us online. And I want to let you know also, so for our next meeting, we'll be taking a break for the month of December because we're planning better and more things for 2025. So we want to spend a little more time planning for next year. So more information to come on the website. We also are revamping our CMC leadership group. So more information also to come. All the individuals who have been helping us, they're being amazing. And we also want to open it up to new people to join the group and also to bring new ideas and prepare more things next year. So we'll keep you posted. Hopefully, if you're interested, you can join Peter and a few other wonderful leaders that have been supporting this effort. Thank you so much, and be safe.
All right, and one more thing. Yeah. One more thing. We Keep You Rolling is partnering with the Forest Preserves, and we will be having a bike ride on Saturday, September the 28th, from 10 in the morning to approximately 1 in the afternoon. We will have the Divvy e-bikes, and we will give an eco tour around the community. We will tour the proposed site of the Red Line extension to 130th. We will show you 4 new community murals. We will visit the Janton Underground Railroad site, and we will visit the Chicago Finest Marina, which is a Black-owned marina in a unique community, Riverdale Community number 54. And last but not least, we will tour the new Allgale Library. Everything is free. We'd like to see you there. If you'd like a flyer as a reminder, they're on the table. Thank you. Have a good night.